Well, welcome to the code explain for the backend part. First of all, let's see the app.get function. So this code set up an API endpoint at API places that let user filter and retrieve travel destinations from database. When user make a request, the code first gather all the destination data from the database. It then filters the database based on user's query parameters like country, budget, days, and travel types. For example, check if the country matches, if the budget and dates within the user's limits, and if the type of travel matches like what the user wanted. The filter list of places is then sent back to user as a JSON response. If there an error while accessing the database, the server responds with a like 500 error and an error message. Then let's go to setup section, like this part, setup section. So the code is set up on Express server for Node.js application. It import keys model like Express for the server, PunchDB for the database, Horse for handling cross origin requests, and Path and FS for working with the files and directions. The server is configured to use cores to allow requests from different origins and express their JSON to handle like JSON data in requests. A PunchDB database called Places is created to store data. The server also serves static file from the front end directory, making client side file accessible. The file name and the dir name variable help determine a file path, and the server listen on the specific port, defaulting to like 3000 here, if none is provided. So let's go to another example, initial like DB here. So the code define a sync function called initial DB that populated a PunchDB database with data from a place.json file, which is here, this one. The function read and parse the JSON file located in the same directory, then loop through each place in the data. For each place, it's try to add it to the database with a unique ID based on current time. If anything goes wrong while adding a place, the error is logged to the console. The function helps to load and store the place data into a database. So I think the most difficult part in the back end is keeping data in sync between like PunchDB and the front end. This involve like managing create, read, update, and delete, which is CRUD. It's kind of hard to me. But one thing is enjoyable was after design API endpoint, it can handle queries and return like accurate result to the front end. And thank you for listening.